I've been dreading hitting the go live button this morning because this morning's the morning where we wrap this season up, where we tie a bow on it, where we start licking our wounds after the Eagles lost last night to end their season 23-19. And there's so much to complain about, bitch and moan about, vent about our Philadelphia Eagles. That's what we're going to do about it for the next 90 plus minutes. I got a dozen comments. That's why we're live early. The frustrating end to the season has happened. This is the end. But we move on. When one thing ends, we move on to the next. Trending in the AM, we're taking your thoughts and opinions. We're live in 30 seconds. And a very sort of good morning, sort of disappointing morning. Welcome to Trending in the AM, right here on the STT Sports Network. Please, wherever you're watching, whether you're happy or not, please do me that favor. Hit the like button on your screen, subscribe to the channel, and share this out on your social media platforms. Please, it's free to do. Free to support this channel, not free to support the Eagles. This channel is more supportive to you than your Philadelphia Eagles. Please, like, share, subscribe, and vote on our YouTube poll question. Time to play the blame game. Who's most to blame for the season ending? Sirianni, Patullo, Hurts, or A.J. Brown? They're your options, guys. It's going to be one of those downer type of days. It's going to be one of those rock bottom type shows. This is going to be the finger pointing, the bitching, the moaning, the venting. All opinions are warranted today, and all are valid. Can't stand up for anybody 100%. Can't put my feelings back on anybody. This team stunk yesterday and has stunk all year long. And here we are on January 12th, already forced to look forward to next year. Not what we expect in this city. Not what we want in this city. This Eagles team failed coaching. This team failed at execution. This team failed at being built. It's an organizational failure, plain and simple. Now, you guys have got me like 30, 40 comments behind right from the get-go. So we are going to rapid fire through some of the early opinions, and then we will start putting towards some finer points. Like a dozen from Nooms and Duck to get us started. Today, the culture was not greater than all else. I agree with that. Culture is supposed to be all that this team is about. I didn't see a lack of effort, but saw a lack of defenders knowing where to be. Not enough blame will be put on the defense, but there was definitely some blame there. This year, going up against teams missing all-starting linebackers never mattered. Wheel routes missing. And if you know football, the issue is way more physical than mental for AJ. I know you talked about that yesterday a bunch. Opposing DCs knew it too. Yep, absolutely. AJ is not done. He might be done. We're going to have a long conversation multiple times this offseason about that. I was waiting for a Soldier Steve comment like this. So glad the starters rest at week 18 so that Juwan Jennings and Demarcus Robinson could outplay and outproduce. Yeah, exactly. I don't think the rest had anything to do with yesterday's outcome. Sirianni wanted to hire Patullo, who has never called a play at any level of the game. He had to see that he was underwater after game 4 and still didn't do anything. I think the not doing anything is the biggest misstep of the season. Patullo was clearly in over his head fairly quickly and never figured out how to right the ship. And that is on Sirianni not making a change. 100%. He allowed the issues on the offense to get out of control and spiral. Didn't pull his culture expertise. Yeah, look, Nick Sirianni is not out of the realm of criticism. Am I going to go and say fire Nick Sirianni like some? No. But Nick Sirianni failed. And Nick Sirianni will accept blame for it. I guarantee that. Teams go the way of leadership. This offense had no leadership at the top two positions. Organizational failure, and should be placed purely on the doorstep of the head coach. And I'm sure he will take the blame. And he will be given a year to fix it. Now, if we're in the same spot next year, yeah, then we can talk about it. But he will be given the opportunity to fix it this offseason. Patullo comes off as a smug know-it-all when called on his incompetence. I'm sure when asked if he needs help, he said, no, I know what I'm doing. Look, you think about the video of Sirianni, Patullo, and Hurts on the sideline during that last timeout where they call the last play. And Jalen Hurts clearly doesn't like the play, and he looks at Sirianni, and Sirianni's like, well, yeah, I mean, whatever he says. That video of the three of them and the look on Sirianni and Hurts' face sums up a lot about this entire season. Patullo, based on interviews, he comes off as not self-aware and arrogant, and no one put him in his place. Patullo, in my opinion, incompetent and feckless. Stoutland Howie needs to sit down and plan for a near future without Lane. Hey, look, Jeff Stoutland's not out of the realm of criticism right now either. Okay, Jeff Stoutland did not have the offensive line playing well, or the run game running well. Reed needs to reevaluate his position coaches to understand what is missing from the loss of his assistant last season. That as well. Last drive summarized in 2x2 on every single formation. Yeah, I mean, the last play of the game. I mean, yeah, it was a bad throw by Jalen Hurts into triple coverage. Should not have made the throw. But if you look at that from Jalen Hurts' eyesight angle, there was nowhere to throw the ball. You got to throw it somewhere. And there was nobody open because of the route concepts. We need to step away from the shortest practice in the league and start adding more practice time. See, I disagree with that necessarily. The way we practice is why we normally are a relatively healthy team. And our offensive line's been banged up this year, I know. But for the most part, we've avoided having the injuries that teams like the 49ers and Detroit have had. Lane is not going out like that. Look, he said he had 2 years left, maybe 3 at the start of this year. This year probably put things into perspective for him. I don't know if it's 110% lock that Lane Johnson is coming back next season. Start looking for his replacement sooner than later. Absolutely should be right now. Assess the long-term prognosis of the middle of the offense and go from there. The middle, as in Cam Jurgens. I feel like I'm just reading Duck and Noom's comments here. Let me try to catch up to some other comments here. What's up, Dante? 4th and 2nd, and we pass the ball. 2nd and 20, we run the ball. What a joke. We were a joke. See, this is the thing. We didn't deserve to advance. We didn't deserve to advance. We didn't deserve to be there. We knew, while this is disappointing, as the title of the show says, but expect it, we should have expected this kind of disappointment. All right, we should have known this season was going to end in disappointing fashion. There's no other outcome happening. We did not see his aggressiveness this year. Later in the year, they went away from the Cowards run and Cowards draws and stuff like that. Didn't have set plays for 3rd and 10 and 3rd and 8. They did later, but not much. I'm starting to think my original assessment of Sirianni being an idiot clown was not incorrect. Coasting on luck and goodwill. Yeah, I knew it would. I knew your Nick Sirianni backing wouldn't last long. People gave me shit last year when I insinuated how fortunate we were to encounter such a trench mismatch in the Super Bowl. We were given advantage, and this time we did not take advantage of it. Exactly. I think he was well aware of weaknesses and spent the year overcompensating. Uncle Vic and the nephews played a decent game, but got gashed. Look, Uncle Vic is not out of the realm. Quinion Mitchell, not out of the realm of criticism. Turned it into a Dan Reeves conservatism. Philly sports radio on fire. I've been listening. Why would you be listening? Little G, we're not kicking anybody's butt next week, but Little G's new daily comment: Eagles fire OC. I hope so. They want Nick and his pretend coach abilities gone. Frank Reich on line one. Frank Reich's name hasn't been heard of much lately because of all these other coaches fired. And good morning, Rick. Hope you're well today. But yeah, there better be a new OC in town tomorrow. There better be. Fire head coach now. Look, I don't agree, but I think you and anybody that wants to say that today, on Monday, the day after the aftermath of a disappointment of a season, you're warranted in saying it. I blame myself for buying the bullshit. Shame on me. I bought it all year long. I stuck up for the team all year long. I even said after week 4, 5, 6 to Duck, give him time in Kevin Patullo. I mean, our coach is the greatest coach in Eagles history. Good morning, Robert. How you doing today? Don't care about KP. Head coach got to go. Look, you're warranted in saying that. Bring on the golf talk. Look, tomorrow, 6 p.m., Fairway to Heaven. Season 6 kicks off. Sony Open. I've already got 3 outright bets, and I'll have 3 more by the end of the day. Ready to rock and roll with the golf talk. This was a linebacker scheming masterclass by Shanahan. Look, Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, invisible yesterday. Hey, you're allowed to think that way today. I'm not going to talk down on any negative opinions. You're a better man than me. You did not crash out at any point. Yeah, I mean, I'm crashing out a little bit this morning. Only thing that is for sure, A.J. Brown is gone. I don't think it's for sure. I think they're going to try. I think it needs to be discussed, but I don't think it's for sure because it's a difficult trade to make. Patullo won't. It isn't in the should be. Patullo will be fired. I don't think there's any question that Jeffrey Lurie knows the pulse of his city and his team. He knows there's zero chance he can run that coaching staff back without at least Patullo being changed. So it will happen. 2 major reasons why the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year and this year they could not win. A wild card. I think we need to keep AJ fire cheerleader. Maybe it happens. Good morning, Adam. How you doing today? Just getting caught up here. We're still about 7 minutes behind. O-line was terrible, run blocking all season. Stoutland U was, yeah, exactly. We're not going to, people need to criticize Jeff Stoutland as well. Injuries or not. A.J. Brown avoiding the media after last night was a very big, immature, but expected thing from him. That is A.J. Brown's personality. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. Screw it. It's a probable, but it's not a guarantee. Yeah, I mean, Justin Herbert had a hell of a game last night. And on the bright side, Justin Herbert stunk last night. A.J. had a very fixable catch radius issue. Like, I know you've been talking about that yesterday and today. And sure, that's fine. He's still got to catch the ball when it's in his hands. That said, the protection was awesome, and Hurts always bails to his right, and everyone and his uncle knows it. He does only bail to his right when he bails. Absolutely. 100%. AJ is very fixable if AJ wants to think he needs fixing. Yeah, you can't fix somebody that doesn't think they need fixing. Hey, yo, you got a flat tire? No, I don't. I can still drive. 2 key differences was offensive line last year. Dominant and Barkley had huge holes. Yeah. Offensive line was bad. What's up, AK? How we doing today? How you feeling after that loss? Corporate Hurts? I don't know. I don't listen to the sports talk radio. Biggest is Hurts. Hurts is a good passer, but not so good, and he doesn't need to run. What? Anyway. What do we got here? Carlos, what's up? Not surprised at how our season ended. Now Howie needs to make smart moves. Look, Howie had a questionable offseason by his standards. Howie's got a lot of work to do. There's a boatload of free agents and a boatload of holes on this team. Howie Roseman has a lot of work to do. Hurts is the best running quarterback in every third. He just ran for the first down. Yeah. Your quarterback was midfield 2 minutes and 3 timeouts, didn't score. He did not. He did not. Don't agree with firing Nick, especially for Harbaugh. Yeah, I don't want John Harbaugh. Trust me on that. I want nothing to do with that boy. There's no need for John Harbaugh in this city. All right? Not a John Harbaugh guy. John Harbaugh, honestly, is a little overrated in my opinion. Hasn't won anything in a long time. This year, he refused to rush, only running 13 yards. Look, yeah, he didn't run as much. I know. AJ's physical issues are a lot like Keely Ringo's. Overdeveloped frame, completely taking flexibility away. Maybe. Nick is a clown. Warranted feeling. Good morning. Fuck the Eagles. Phillies sign. Bo Bichette, please be signed. Save me some stress. Well, glad to see you guys are now where I've been 8 weeks ago, but shitty way to end the season, whether I knew it was coming or not. Well, we should have all seen it coming. You tried to tell us it was coming. But I tried to keep the brave soldier face on. I tried to keep the power of positivity alive. And, yeah. But deep down inside, I knew this is the way it was going to go. If Nick pulls a Doug P. or John Harbaugh, then he's gone. I think Nick Sirianni knows not to. I think Nick Sirianni knows what is coming with his buddy. And I know Nick Sirianni. That's why he gave the shrug to Jalen at the end of the game, like, whatever. Let him call the play. It's the last play of the game. Just let him have one more moment. He knows what's coming. Please, Chandler, or Joseph, bring in Bo. Please. Please. Was Jalen Hurts great last night? He wasn't. But even with shit play calling, Hurts had throws. Dude, he had 4 balls in receivers' hands, just flat out dropped. And the outcome of the game is different if those balls are caught. Because scores happen differently, the game flow happens differently. 4 critical drops that change the outcome of the game. Okay? We might be talking victory Monday today with those drops. It's frustrating. I don't think AJ's gone. His contract will hurt that trade. It will. Now, you can trade him post June 1st and split up the cap hit. That gets you draft picks in 2027, not this year. But it is possible post June 1st. Like, you can post date like a cut post June 1st, but you can do it now. You can't post trades post June 1st, pre-post them. I think this offense will be intact with a new OC for one more year. I agree. I think that's what they do. They tweak it. Maybe they bring back Goddard, maybe not. They're going to go out and get, out of all the head coaches that were fired, Stefanski, McDaniels, all those names that are out there, they're going to go out and get whoever doesn't get a head coaching job, Brian Dable, Doug Peterson, Frank Reich. They're going to hire one of those guys to be the OC. And then, if it doesn't work out next year, then the drastic changes will come. The Sixers' loss was injury to insult, purposely reversed because it hurt me more. Look, and they went up again. They were shorthanded with no Paul George and no Joel Embiid, but the Raptors were without Brandon Ingram last night. Still went to overtime. Still a clutch shot from VJ Edgecombe in overtime. Stoutland did not adjust for the loss of his assistant, thinking his other 2, yep, absolutely. Stoutland needs to be questioned. Offense were at midfield twice with a chance to put up points. Was 13-10, only came away with 3. Hey, you had 2 picks by Quinion Mitchell. Only got 3 points out of them. Hurts also bails for no reason. The Niners were getting 0 pressure. We got 0 pressure on Brock Purdy, and they weren't getting much on Hurts. Thank you very much, Adam. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. We're talking about Stoutland having a bad year where his line was banged up. It's fair to say I'm not saying his job isn't safe. His job is safe, but he's got to reevaluate how he coaches up the backups, how he evaluates the run game. He is the run game coordinator. He's got to evaluate, how to fix and how to pivot when people go down. Win the turnover battle at home while your opponent doesn't get much pressure. We won the turnover battle last night, 2-0. We won the time of possession yesterday by like 11 minutes, maybe almost 12, and we still lost the damn football game. How in the right world is that possible? That's the reason you lost. Is Hurts is very good, but not so good. He doesn't need to run. There, why you lost. Yeah. Jalen's a running quarterback who doesn't run anymore. Why, though? We really got to find the why. I can't see the picture that well. It Hurts have run like other quarterbacks. Eagles would have had more than 19 points. A bunch of us knew it was coming. And by the way, on the Hurts running, why run? Okay? He ran for 12 yards on one play. What happened? Holding, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down. It ended the way it started. Oh, no, we started with a win. Not much different from how the Rams attacked in the passing game in '89. Yeah, like I 9-year-old me wasn't paying attention to that game, okay? I could never shit on the team going to the playoffs. Yeah, I agree. We can shit on the team now, though. That's calling losing the locker room and players don't respect you. The O-line was banged up, but Saquon doesn't look like he has the burst. Now, hopefully he gets healthy, gets a little extra time to rest here. The dude looked exhausted. Possibly one of Howie Roseman's missteps was giving him an extension after his first year here. Maybe. You just knew Saquon would drop a ball. He always does. AJ's were so Saquon, yes. You know he's always going to drop a pass. And he does it in key moments always. But AJ's been dropping balls or not running out routes, so it doesn't count as a drop, but in theory he could have caught them. It's been a dozen times plus this year, K1. A.J. Brown's been taking plays off and playing shitty team football for a long time. Guys, there's only like 9 or 10 likes. There have been over 20 people watching. Guys, if you haven't, hit the like button, subscribe, share. 9 likes, but 22 votes on the poll. So, guys, hit those buttons, please. It's free to do. The final play calling was terrible. This is a team loss, but that starts with the head coach sticking with Patullo is on him. Yeah. And Sirianni is winning the blame game poll right now. 45% of the vote, Patullo 32%. Hurts 9%, A.J. Brown 14%. Even if it was Victory Monday, yesterday changed my opinion on going into Chicago. Yeah, we would have gotten smoked in Chicago. Phil, I don't know why the grass grows on the sun or the sun sets, but I do know A.J. is gone. Gotcha. It's a circle of life, right? A.J. got those alligator arms. Yeah. For who? For what? Jake Elliott. I mean, he has a dead cap hit. It's not as much as A.J. Brown, but it's a lot for a kicker, dead cap hit wise. I don't know what you do. Howie Roseman has upon him right now one of the most difficult off seasons that he's probably ever going to have. Players that need to be cut or not, players that need to be extended or not, free agents, draft picks, holes, long-term planning, coaching issues. Yeah, you can call me Caviar Phil now, okay? Caviar of knowledge, not the beard of knowledge. Couldn't believe I didn't see more empty sets and targeted wheel routes. Well, why would you expect something different? Time to take Jake Elliott out to the lake and tell him to stare at the water. Yeah. Take him out Fredo style. Gotta wait till mom's gone, though, for that, right? Listen, Nick should be fired just for running 15 yards downfield to yell at AJ after the third down. His bullshit answer was, I was trying to get him off the field. Look, you don't want your coach yelling at your player for dropping passes? Easy passes? Look, that is who Nick Sirianni is. He's a fiery, passionate guy. And AJ knows that. And AJ knew he fucked up, pretty much. You want to blame Nick for that? What do you feel about AJ Brown refusing to speak to the media after the game and just walking out before the media availability? Huh? And maybe he was trying to get him off the field. And maybe that was a bullshit answer. Who cares? I have no problem with Nick Sirianni. I want my coach to get in their faces. Keep them locked in. Maybe he was shouting in his face, go read a fucking book. Maybe that's what he said. I have to partially disagree on Elliott. Wins were extremely variable. Yeah, yes. Look, you got to hope with the money you've got committed to him that Jake Elliott could figure it out. Hurts totaled only 13 yards rushing, but the second best rushing quarterback statistically. I mean, he rushed for other plays that got called. There was one big run and maybe one short run called back by penalties. Never seen a coach want to have confrontation with his players like I do Nick. And he says it's just emotion, no big deal. That's crap. Nick acts like a child. We need a grown man to coach. Look, on one hand, I disagree. But on the other hand, after the way the season just ended, you're allowed to feel that way today. I'm not going to kick your opinion to the curb. Okay? I can't. Every opinion is on the table on a lost Monday like today. I like that emotion because that's the way I've always been leadership-wise in any leadership position of mine. Very, very open and adamant and in your face. That's just the way I've been. Now, I don't cuss and scream at people, but look, I get it. And it's not for everybody. But let me tell you something, AK. They're not firing them, okay? It's just not happening. They're going to get a new OC and run it back. Now, next offseason, if this is still a problem, then they'll talk about it. But he ain't going anywhere. Same people asking to fire Nick are the same people asking for continuity. Yeah, exactly. The other field goals were down the pipe. If you want to push him, that's fine. But unless you have a lock kicker, yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. Jake Elliott's don't grow on trees. Like, elite kickers are hard to find. I don't know if he's been bad. Nick's not going. Nick is not, Robert, going anywhere. Eagles will be back in the playoffs next year. Absolutely agree. They're too talented of a team not to be. And their ownership won't allow them not to be. Well, we'll go through the solutions throughout the week. But right now, it's venting time. I'm fine with yelling at AJ. I'm sick of his shit, too. Exactly. I mean, how many plays this year did he drop balls or not run routes out or not finish blocks on? There's dozens of times this year. I want the ball. Well, you got to get the ball. You got to catch the ball. It was an Of Mice of Reference. Sorry, sorry. I mean, I read Of Mice of Men, like in the 10th grade, maybe the 8th grade. I don't know. When was it not okay to yell at people for not doing their job? I don't know. Got a little soft in the world, I guess. It's not the fact that AJ fucked. It's the fact there's times to do it and times not to. And AJ, you already know how I feel about him. Trade his ass. Look, yeah. Look, and you know me. I actually am in the minority, and I don't want to trade A.J. Brown, okay? I also know you probably have to trade A.J. Brown, financially speaking, and emotionally in the locker room speaking. A.J. Brown was a captain on this team. He didn't act or perform like it, but he was a captain, right? But also, having an elite talent like A.J. Brown, aren't you better off trying to fix his personality than trade him away? Because you're going to go to Devontae Smith and a bunch of unknowns. A.J. Brown, is talent-wise, is elite. Has had elite seasons. He's just stunk this year. Kickers don't figure it out. I mean, sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. You're acting like AJ's been doing his job all year. He hasn't. Now, I've been calling him out all year for his problems. I've been saying A.J. Brown has been not running out routes since the first game of the year, okay? But it's also hard to move on from him because there's so much talent there. It's not professional. They couldn't attack the middle of the field via pass with 49ers out there. Look, I mean, there are a couple plays that went over the middle, and they ran the ball pretty effectively up the middle, all things considered, Marky Mark. Well, look, it was a complete and total disaster, plain and simple. AJ's already gone. Hal, he's just got to figure out where he's got to trade him. Hell, AJ's been halfway through this. Yeah, absolutely great. He checked out months ago, okay? Checked out months ago. It is what it is. It absolutely sucks that we're in this position. Zero issues with AJ knowing himself and keeping his mouth shut the only way he knows, by avoidance. I know, and I've seen other people say that. He knew he would say something stupid, so he left the locker room. And I get that. But then, who was it on Twitter? Someone, a reporter. Give me a second. I want to give this reporter, credit on this one. From 97.3 ESPN South Jersey, Frank Close. shared a video of Orion Kirkgreen after the Phillies lost in the playoffs and him facing the media and facing the bullets like a professional should. Okay? And he said a big difference between Orion Kirkgreen and A.J. Brown. And I'm like, you know what? Spot on. So you know what? A.J. Brown, being a captain and a leader and a supposedly talent, has to be smart enough by this point in his career to know not to say the wrong thing, but still stand up there and fight the firing squad. All right? Is this team in a worse spot than 23? How he hit on both free agency and the draft in that offseason? I don't know. I'd have to think about the offseason in 23. Who were the free agents and stuff? Obviously, we know the draft went perfectly, but I don't know. I think that's a good question. Worse spot than 2023. I wrote it down. I'll have to think about that one for sure. Not like Jalen never screamed at AJ on the sideline until they figure it out. Once a kicker loses it, they're done. I mean, we'll see. I mean, who's going to kick? I mean, maybe you have more confidence in a kicker off the street than what we have, and that's fine. You can kick it to the curb all you want. How I feel is how I feel. You're not going to change that no matter what you say, but I can tell you right now we could do a lot better than Nick. Are you sure about that? Who's going to do better than Nick Sirianni, which is 5 straight years as a coach, 5 playoffs, 3 division championships, most wins in 5 years in Eagles history, a Super Bowl championship, and a Super Bowl loss? Where are you going to find a coach that's not employed right now that has that kind of a track record ability? I'm just curious. Can we fire Sirianni? There is no discipline. Discipline was an issue, Mitchie Poo. Good morning to you. Discipline was an issue all year long. Stupid penalties, mental errors, mental mistakes. Nick Sirianni is not free of criticism at all. I just know Nick Sirianni's not going anywhere. Okay? Discipline was atrocious all year long from players and coaches. Real players want their coaches in their faces. They want accountability. How he handled it was all I needed to see. He left before the hard part. We got what we needed out. We got what we needed out of him. Get some value now. Well, his value's dropping at a record pace, Big Al. You ain't getting no first-round pick for A.J. Brown at this point. All right? You know, now you grow out a relationship. I think the Eagles' relationship with Sirianni is starting to grow apart. Eagles need to relationship with an adult. I mean, to your points, to AK's points, you know, maybe Nick Sirianni was the Brett Brown to a young team, and he's got to be moved on from for the Doc Rivers. Now, the Doc Rivers didn't work out. Now, Nick Sirianni a championship, you know, Brett Brown did not. But maybe Nick Sirianni was the perfect coach for a young team. But now you've got some of these young guys maturing into men, and you need a man to lead them. Maybe. But that's what we thought when we moved on from Brett Brown to Doc Rivers. We know how that worked. Just saying. Tell that to Nick Folk and Robbie Gold. It was the worst of Phil. It was the best of Phil. And I'm tired of hearing everyone and their defense for Nick is his win percentage. Oh, my God. Whoop-de-doo. I'm not giving him any more credit for other people's success. I think that's a cop-out, saying that he had no part in the Eagles' success. It's not just winning percentage. It's 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. No Eagles coach in the history has ever done that. Technically, they're still the champs. Till someone else hoists the trophy, it's not going to be us. We're the defending champs. There's no other coach with his track record. I don't think AJ is gone unless you get Christian Gonzalez and a pick. I doubt you get that for him. I doubt it. It is only second loss in the playoffs. AJ will ask for trade, trust me. He already asked for it, probably. I would get fired if I yelled at a coworker for not doing their job. In certain situations, probably, yes. In a restaurant, I mean, I yelled at a lot of people in restaurants. AJ wants a pass-heavy team, and that is not what the Eagles are right now. He has a Super Bowl ring now. He wants the individual recognition, yeah. Send him to Cleveland. Call up Cleveland and be like, yo, let's swap Myles Garrett for A.J. Brown. But you work corporate. Yeah, corporate's different. What's up, Bruce? Hope you're doing well this morning. K1 put it should. Luckily, the people run the birds aren't oscillating between absolute confidence and absolute panic. Yeah, we're like on such far ends of the spectrum right now. Our emotions are all over the place. He already peeped in for a second earlier today. Do you have a tense conversation with a coworker who isn't producing or clearly displaying insubordination? I would yell at them personally. All right, we gained a new subscriber. We're up to 968. One away from Mitchie Pooh's number. Guys, like, subscribe, share, vote on the poll question. Yesterday was the best day, but also was the worst day. Yesterday was awful. Sucked ass. You discuss it aside or softer voice. You start that way. But then if you do that and it doesn't work, then you got to get a little bit more vocal. You said Nick has to yell at AJ for not doing his job. I'm saying he hasn't done it all year. Okay, okay, I understand that. And that goes to what I was just thinking with Duck's comment. You discuss it softer. So you discuss it with them, and then when it doesn't work, yeah, you blow up at them, okay? And I heard an interesting point, and this goes to you and Duck and the anti-Nick Sirianni guys, that Nick Sirianni could have potentially lost some respect from some of the players because he lets A.J. Brown get away with his laziness, his disrespect, his lack of effort, but then looks at them and gets in their faces. He probably calls out like a Tank Bigsby, just making up a name, or Will Shipley, or who was the other kick returner that he got in the face of and then cut the next week. But yet then lets A.J. Brown get away with it. And that's a negative for sure. And maybe that's a thing. Maybe he has lost respect because he coaches each player with different levels of expectations. Most people have had issues with AJ at one point. This is the tipping point. Yeah. If I was getting $29 million a year and performing like shit, I'd expect to get called out too. Exactly true. Exactly true. AJ is a diva. We will not deny that. Nobody can do it better than Nick Sirianni. That's the way I like to think. Let me ask you this. If Nick was a good coach and he knew what he was doing, couldn't he have taken over for KP and completely fixed the offense? Well, he can't call plays. We know that, okay? And not every head coach calls plays or knows how to call plays. They trust their coordinator to do that. Now, he was an idiot for picking the wrong guy, obviously. He was a bigger idiot for not making a change midseason, obviously, okay? He stuck to he stuck to his choice. And now he's got to live with it. He's going to have to answer the questions, and he's going to have to make the tough decision to fire his friend. You make a decision, you got to stick by it. You got to accept the consequences of it. A.J. Brown for a first-rounder. Look, I would have told you, Scott, that A.J. Brown would have gotten a first-rounder months ago with the way he played last night and with the way his personality is being viewed right now, and the fact that teams know the Eagles want to get rid of him, or we think the Eagles want to get rid of him. I think a second-round pick is the max you get for him at this point. And it won't even be in this draft. It'll be in the 2027 draft. Just to be clear, it's okay for everyone to crash out about KP, but only AJ isn't allowed to vent. There's always one needed on every team to call out the emperor or his underlings have no clothes. Look, I'm okay if he would have called him out. I would have rather him speak and say bad shit than not speak at all. Would have been perfectly okay. I would have criticized it, but I would have respected it more than him dipping out the back door. AJ must go, says Kid. NFL, no NFL rooting interest from here on out. Go Hoosiers, can't stand my, yeah, look. I don't even know where my mind is on who to root for. AJ Brown's a very big diva. Every wide receiver is. Nick had an uneven year, but his style works. He needs, in collaboration with front office, choose a seasoned OC without head coaching aspirations. Frank Reich would be the perfect fit. Look, I think at this point, on January 12th, this could change by January 13th, Mark, but at this moment, someone like Frank Reich with no head coaching aspirations absolutely got to be the decision. That's what you need. That's what you got to get. So, Rob, we all know there's going to be a lot of movement in the offseason. This ownership doesn't mess around. Coming off a tough season, we've seen it. We know it's coming. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. There are tons of storied coaches out there with track records. Sirianni is like that gambler who went on a long run of luck. Luck without talent or understanding of the game will not succeed. Well, he's going to get another chance. 100%. I would put it at 100% that Nick Sirianni is not going anywhere. Okay? Number one fans, absolutely we are. We're the passionate ones. That Brett Brown comparison, I tried to draw some line to a coach good at young guys, coaching the youngs, and once they grow up, I don't know. I tried. Man, I'm far behind on comments still. Still 7 minutes behind on comments here. We fans deserve how that ended. Yeah? Therefore, that tells me Nick isn't good at calling plays or designing plays. Shows he's not the reason for our success. Well, his overall picture, his overall leadership is maybe part of it. It's your first AJ to move up and get a replacement wide receiver if you're smart. They got so many holes, but Howie Roseman does like drafting wide receivers in the first round. I'm saying if you want a glorified cheerleader as your head coach, go for it. But for me, I want someone who can come in, take control, call their own plays. And that is the newer way in the NFL, okay? And I'm not denying that. But there's probably a lot more CEO cheerleader head coaches than you realize, okay? John Harbaugh was one of them. Mike Tomlin, Pete Carroll. Well, I mean, Pete Carroll stunk this year, but before that, Vrabel, who's doing really well. Jim Harbaugh. I don't think Jim Harbaugh causes plays. He actually might now. Dan Campbell was till he had to take over this year. There's a lot of coaches in the NFL. Picked off Russell Wilson in the Super Bowl. He won them that game. Not good enough, okay? How many subscribers last night? Not enough. My YouTube page blew up. I had like 37 comments this morning that I had to answer, that came through. Mostly by 49ers fans. Got a whole bunch of YouTube comments from 49ers fans last night while I was sleeping. We are not the defending champs because we aren't able to defend. We're okay. All right, so that's how far behind I am. You don't get to fumble your way to 5 straight playoff, 2 Super Bowls. I agree. Nick is not going anywhere at all. Yeah, I'm sure about that. Who's going to do better than Nick? I don't know. None of us knew who Nick was. Don't give me that crap. You can always find someone. Staying put, you get caught. Look, I'm just telling you, this is not happening. But I get it. And I think you're allowed to feel this way. I just feel differently. Okay? McDaniels ain't going to change anything. Now if you want to find me an OC calling plays somewhere that's done a phenomenal job, and you want him like a Ben Johnson, but I don't think there's a Ben Johnson out there looking for their first head coach job. Look at all the coaching candidates that are getting interviewed across the NFL right now. They're all has-beens and retreads because there is no Ben Johnson type this year. Bills, Pats, and Rams 49ers championship weekend would solve world peace. It'd be interesting. Don't write off the Bears, by the way. Do not write off the Bears. You tell at your subordinates when the time calls for it, or you yell at. If you bring out the hammer every time, it becomes white noise and employees check out. It's fair. Everyone it means more when it happens a little less. Yeah, nobody had a problem with Nick Sirianni's style last year while he was hoisting a Lombardi trophy. I know Nick is going nowhere. This is his chance to grow into adult to lead men. This is an opportunity for him to take and change. That's what we're going to learn a lot about Nick Sirianni this year. I mean, although we did learn a lot about Nick Sirianni after the 2023 collapse too. So we know Nick Sirianni can pivot and might make the right decisions and make the right changes. It might be able to work. I'll get fired for other people's mistakes. I have to hold people accountable because I ain't getting fired for your mess up. It's fair enough. It's not unreasonable to think player behavior would be different if there was coaching competence in their own department. Maybe. Other than AJ, who hasn't given 100% this season? I'm sure there's somebody. 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. First Super Bowl appearance was totally Shane. The second one was totally Moore. Again, you can't pick and choose. You give all the success to others, But so when the Eagles are good, Nick Sirianni has nothing to do about it. But when they're bad, aka winning the division and making the playoffs bad, it's Nick Sirianni's fault. So all the blame goes to everyone else, or all the success goes to everyone else, but all the blame goes to him. I think there's a lot more to that right there. Playoff games are dangerous. You can feel crap because we load up. I didn't even drink that much until after the game. We were fine when Nick got us to the Super Bowl twice, and now he hasn't done anything. I agree. And the last time he had a fallout in 23, we went on and won the Super Bowl, right? Eagles should bring Gannon. He might come back, Jonathan Gannon. And we're going to lose Christian Parker, Clint Hurt, Steve Bradley, Sean Bradley, whatever his name is, the linebackers coach. One or two of our assistants are going to go. And Gannon has experience coaching cornerbacks in secondary. Vic might give him a job. I wouldn't be shocked. Group dynamics, the biggest reason people stay at their jobs, the number one reason, their direct boss, wide receiver coach, and boss's boss, OC. So you're saying Sean Moreland, that's his name, right? I think his name is Moreland or Moorhead. At the end of the day, Hurts for some reason refuses to use his biggest weapons, his legs. Got to work on that. When you want to play or work for your coach or manager, it shows on the field. 2 Super Bowl appearances in a ring is a great endorsement. I agree. My girlfriend's father was so mad he called AJ cancer. He said he was sorry for saying it. That's funny. I'm not sorry for saying it. How do you hire someone who is less competent than you are at the job you are hiring him for? Never called a play at any level. Look, and I said it when he was hired last offseason. That was probably not the right decision. And where were the other interviews? All right? I backed my coach. I was wrong. But I did question his hiring when it happened. Damn near every head coach calls their plays, whether it's defensive. Very few do. Or not very few. A lot less do than you think. Okay? A lot less do than you think. All right? And the most successful overall to all time don't do it. Nick is a fraud, but he's not going anywhere. I think Patullo hire was hubris. We just won the Super Bowl. We didn't need a great coordinator, or we will. Yeah, I think it was like, look, well, some of the good candidates are already hired. We just won the Super Bowl. We want continuity. Let's just keep promote the guy from within because he knows what just worked. Now, he screwed everything up that was working, but it is what it is. He is the best coach for the Eagles. Who else didn't give 100, Duck? Everybody. Trivia. Which coach just retired, setting the record of having a 62-year coaching career in college and the NFL? I don't know the answer to that. Valiant pain over. I did see a college coach just retire, but I don't remember who it was. Valiant pain over victory is smart for Hurts. Steelers versus Texans. Go Raj now. I'm all about the Texans tonight. Lacking of attention to detail, especially compared to the defense. Boy, are we in a tight end bind. I don't know how you keep Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert played himself into a massive contract extension. Packers are uniquely mid. Yep. Right now, the Ravens are the most enticing job out there because the team is ready to win. Yeah, I agree. I'm telling you right now, you fire Nick. The two I'm going for are Josh McDaniels. And Josh McDaniels has failed everywhere he's gone. And the Bears offense coordinator, a 28-year-old. But here's the thing. You want a guy that's got play calling experience. The Bears coordinator isn't calling the plays. Ben Johnson is. So you're going to bring in another non-offensive play caller to call plays and be your head coach, not your offensive coordinator? Now, the Bears offensive coordinator, you want to make him your OC to call plays? Sure. But Josh McDaniels, he was in line. He was interviewed before Nick Sirianni. Actually, I think he was the leading candidate on the odds boards to be the Eagles head coach. Josh McDaniels is a no. It's a big no to me. Can you imagine how enticing the Eagles head coach? Yeah, I mean, it would be a pretty – people would line up for that job for sure. There are 7 openings this year. We are competing there as well. That's true. I made plans the week of February 9th for a parade. Legit placed my employer on notice. Well, got some news for you. You know what, Mark? You should go and have a parade anyway. We should do an Eagles parade anyway, right? Let's do some kind of parade. Dan Campbell more of an adult than Nick. How about Mike Vrabel? I mean, they're pretty much the same kind of coaches. And don't give me, Vrabel hasn't won jack shit as a head coach either. Vrabel and Dan Campbell haven't been to no Super Bowls as a head coach. Josh McDaniels is mature enough to take over a team, and now that he has been out of Belichick's shadow, he's done a really nice job this year with Drake May. Imagine what he could do with Hurts. Yeah. Look, McDaniels has been a failure as a head coach. Brandon Graham should have come back. Waste. Yeah, Brandon Graham probably didn't really do. Will Brandon Graham go back to retirement? Probably. Not ideal. I talked trash on Allen, but he ran all over and got smashed up. Good job by him fighting through the pain. How do we only have 13 likes? We got 27 people watching right now on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe, share. 27 people watching, 30 votes, but only 13 likes. I point out how many teams were primed to win when they fired their head coach and got a new head coach and went back to Super Bowl. Tampa Bay under Gruden. It's true. It's actually the whole Gruden situation. It's the Tampa situation there. It's interesting. If we lose Clint Hurt, that's a big issue. We are either going to lose Hurt or we are going to lose Parker. I am almost guaranteeing it. I would throw Bradley's name in maybe as well. So wait, I should go and do a whole week's work at my job and then just give my credit to my boss because he's my boss. But if you go to work and don't do your job, your boss should get fired? Not you? See what I'm saying there? So you're saying success goes to employee, failures go to the coach, the manager. So when the employees fail, it's the manager's fault. See that? See the double standard there? He's hesitant to call out his guy. There's the reason you lost. It hurts. Look, I'm calling him out. Look, Scott Leffler. I mean, Jalen Hurts regressed this year under Scott Leffler. I wanted him to take over play calling. He didn't. I doubt they promote him to OC. Maybe they keep him as the quarterback's coach. But did he hurt having Kevin Patullo as the OC and not the passing game coordinator? Scott Leffler in the room didn't bring anything to the table, obviously. If they thought in the locker room, in the coaching offices, in the organization that he should have taken over, they would have given him the shot. Good leader knows the strengths and weaknesses of players himself. That's why he needs a better OC. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Maybe both. Come on, Phil. How much is Hurts paying you to influence? I just criticized him. Fuck that. Nick should have yelled at AJ. This isn't the YMCA. This is not the YMCA. I am starting to believe in the Pope's chosen. I mean, that end of that game against the Packers. Pretty great game by them. Tom Moore, the Buccaneers, just retired at the age of 87. 87 years old. Can you imagine doing something you love till you're 87 years old? I wish. Let's go, D. Hollis. Phil, I've called him out whenever I have to. Josh McDaniels, I know. I can't get behind that. Do we have to grease the poles for Mia Mark's parade? Mark wants a parade. Let's give him a parade. Can't have a parade because Hurts is too good to run. Again, yes. Robert, keep saying it because it's not. He's not. The NFL is evolving at a way faster pace than it used to. Your act doesn't have the staying power it used to. There are many more ways to be informed. It's a fair statement. How long do you think it will take for the announcement of KP's firing? I'm hoping later today, but probably by Wednesday, Kevin. Nick Sirianni will talk today. They'll have their exit interviews today and tomorrow. Then Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman will sit down and have a year-end press conference on Wednesday or Thursday, and they'll probably announce it about then. None of these adults have won like Nick. Campbell had Ben Johnson and lost to the Commanders. Vrabel had AJ and Henry and lost. Missed me with everyone. Did it but Nick. I think that's fair. And Bill Belichick was a failure as a head coach, and he became the all-time winning head coach of Super Bowls just because he's failed it before. I agree. I guarantee. I know it doesn't guarantee it, right? but you've got a successful coach in your hands, and you want to remove him for someone you don't know if he can be successful or not, that we've seen fail. So instead of letting Nick Sirianni figure it out, you want to see if Josh McDaniels can figure it out. When you become successful at your job, you get promoted. Your boss doesn't become more of a boss. Hurst's passing was still pretty good as always. The only difference, he refused to, I know you're going to say run. Hell yes, in the real world, that's how it works. If the employees fail, that means management has failed. So that's unfair. Okay? If your management is not allowed to yell at you or tell you what to do or coach you up or make you be better or hold you accountable, but he has to take all the blame for your failures, what are the chances we run it back in the name of stability? I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. Now, I think after yesterday, it's harder to do, Nooms. If they would have won yesterday and then lost next week to the Bears, then I think there's a legit chance. The Eagles do want stability. I would put it a lot less today than I would have if they would have won yesterday. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, Bill did not win anything. Josh McDaniels is a great assistant, not a good head coach. P.S. Drake May is way better than Jalen Hurts at this point in their careers. Look, Drake May's having a good season. They didn't put up a huge offensive output last night, but they didn't need to. But yeah, Drake May's showing a little bit. Means you failed at your job too as an employee, yeah, and you should be fired as well. At the end of the day, in my opinion, all this falls on Sirianni. The buck stops with him, and he couldn't fix the issues that plagued this team all year. And that's fine. And I agree. If you want to be a head coach in the NFL, you got to face the criticism when your team fails. It all falls on you, 100%. Doesn't mean he deserves to be fired, but it is all on Nick Sirianni. I am not denying that Nick Sirianni failed this city, but I'm going to give him the chance to redeem himself. The redemption story, the redemption arc is not complete. 62-year career is the second longest career of anyone across the entire sport. Wow. So who would have the longest career? No Chiefs either. Yeah. Playoffs are different right now. Your boss is the pimp and my oldest employee is the bondage. A team or company doesn't win or lose because of one singular human being in sports or in the real world. That is true. You only have 1 in 32 chance of not crashing out each year. That is so true. That's why it's so hard to win in the NFL or in sports in period. Drake May wasn't used as Taysom Hill light his rookie season. That is very true. Before Patullo gets fired, Sirianni, Howie, and Laurie will have a sit-down first, which will happen today or tomorrow morning. That is when we will know if Nick will still have a job. Then we will be told KP has a job or not. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we know that's the plan. And we know that's the process with this Eagles team. They got to do their player exit interviews today as well. There's a lot that'll be going on. Rooting Panthers hard. Yeah, I kind of wanted to see it too. Yeah, the whole play does need to be delete, delete, delete. Unfortunately, some company cultures do not reward people doing a good job, as idiot managers can oftentimes think promotions weaken things. I haven't had a real job in a long time. He is a head coach. He is supposed to yell. I agree. Not just the playbook. KP can't call plays because he doesn't know how to set up plays. That is true. That is very true. Drake May is going to probably finish second in MVP voting behind Matthew Stafford, according to me. In fact, you suck at your job, but stay positive. They oftentimes kick you up to management. Yeah. I mean, I've never worked in corporate America, really, so, or the little I didn't last long. Just won the Super Bowl. We are not firing Nick. I agree. It's not happening. Zero chance. Blankenship needs to go. I've had enough of him getting burned. Yeah, my source of him staying in town with an extension was God wrong on that one. He ain't coming back. Problem is, who are your safeties next year? Drew Makuba and who? How many McDonald's memes of you sent to so far? What? I don't even know what that means. Nick is not going anywhere. Clearly. There's a lot of frustrations, Mark. A lot of frustrations, and it's okay. But he's not going anywhere. I hope the ownership sits Nick down and asks him why he calls players. Yeah, he's got to do it. He's going to have to answer. Blankenship was not good yesterday. He was not good all year, honestly. Supposed to tell you you have no experience managing Gen Z without telling me. Supposed to yell. Look, current age, you just can't lead them the way you used to. It is what it is. You don't tell players they're taking out their asses. What? You're telling us about Blankenship for years now. Look, he's always been a boomer bust player. It is what it is. Everyone knows that Nick Sirianni's not going. All right, we got to the hour mark of today's show. It's 8:59, and I finally got caught up on comments. The longest time it's taken. We've got 37 votes on the poll. Time to play the Eagles blame game. Who is the most to blame? Sirianni is leading the poll vote right now, 46%. Patullo, 35%. Jalen Hurts has exceeded A.J. Brown now to 11%. A.J. Brown is at 8% on the poll. We are sitting at 968 subscribers right now. 21 likes on the video right now, guys. You're watching Trending in the AM, even if you're watching this on replay. Hit the like button, subscribe, share. Tell a friend, tell all. 32 away from 1,000. This drag to 1,000 is taking way too long. Phillips, Dean Toth, and who else do we sign? Dallas Goedert has us over a barrel, their cheeks spread. Dude, there's a lot of names. A lot of names out there. A lot of question marks on this roster. Adoree Jackson, Keely Ringo, Reed Blankenship. What do you do with Sidney Brown and Keely Ringo, who have 1 year left on their deal? Dean, Toth, Phillips. Extensions for Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, all eligible. Do you have to upgrade Brett Toth so you have a real legit backup center in case Cam Jurgens doesn't rebound? Matt Pryor's got to go. Fred Johnson's a free agent. What do you do with Jake Elliott and A.J. Brown? The amount of questions on this roster going into this offseason. I would not want Howie Roseman's job. Black man has shown he's not good enough without a vet like that. It's true. It's very true. Blankenship gave up the game-winning touchdown, but it's going to be sad to break up the exciting Whites. The Eagles have kept players to keep other players happy. Does that happen there? I don't know. Gen Z, you need to hold their hands and sing to them. Yeah, you got to sing Kumbaya to them all. If your mom names you Nicholas when you're born, that's just means medication hasn't worn off yet. What? Did we suffer from too much Super Bowl commercialization? I hope not. I don't know. Has Bo Bichette been signed to the Phillies yet, by the way? We can replace Blankenship with a more talented one guy. Yeah. A.J. Brown at 8% blame shows me that the inmates are running the building now. I mean, you got to give him more than 8% blame for yesterday, right? Right? Blank and Ringo upgrades, yeah. Goddard will get paid, Mitchie Poo. But by who, by what, by for what? 2 touchdowns yesterday, 11 in the regular season. Mark Andrews, a little bit older, signed a 3-year, I think it was $48 million contract. You got to think Dallas Goedert wants that, right? He took the 1-year deal, prove-it deal. Oh, he proved his worth. Stayed relatively healthy this year, too. Are you willing to commit 40, 50? I don't even know if you got the money. I think they're 18th in salary cap. Now they're going to have to renegotiate some deals to free up more cap space. But you got a lot of holes on this team. There's going to be a transition year. Some players moving on and a lot of new players coming in. Quote from Texas, I don't think I would have here so soon. Q Mitchell gets his first 2 interceptions of the season. He also gave up 2 massive plays, a 60-yard catch and a touchdown on the first drive. Look, I love Q. Q is one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. Top 3. But he got burned and torched yesterday. He's to blame for yesterday as well. Now, he redeemed himself with the 2 picks, but he wasn't good. Nolan Smith didn't play with the same violence as usual. Yeah, I mean, Nolan Smith got held a bunch, but still. Nolan Smith's pressure rate is fairly high this year when he's played. But he's been banged up. It's the second time in his career he's been banged up. And the sack numbers just aren't there. Nolan Smith, first-round pick, 3 years done. Eligible for that extension. You can't pick it up. Or you got to pick up his 5th-year option. You can't extend him. F the Super Bowl. I just like the playoffs. Well, I want Super Bowl. 8% is wild when he dropped back-to-back. Got to have it passes. Yeah. It's wild. When he's been doing it all year, when he did it in 2 crucial moments, and then he refused to own up to it. It just went up to 10%. Someone joined the chat and voted for A.J. Brown. Super good tight end in the draft that could help many teams. I want the Bills to win because they are the least annoying fan base to us Eagles fans. I haven't picked the fan base to root for. AJ stopped complaining because he knew this season was cooked because of KP. We all are fans of Q. Q blessed the offense with 2 great field positions, and they got 3 points out of it. Yeah, called it when it happened. Slight rebuild next year for the Eagles. AJ got to be gone. So have $45 million in dead cap money. Is that the post-June 1st trade number? I think it gets split up to like 27 only in dead cap if they trade him post-June 1st, which means we don't get a pick until the 27 draft for him, but whatever. Game was rigged, but we got to be too good. I mean, just think about it, Warfighter. If they had 1 penalty, the 49ers. 1 penalty! You had Jahan Dotson. It was underthrown because of the wind or because Jalen sucks. You call it, whatever. 1 throw underthrown to Jahan Dotson in the end zone. But Jahan Dotson, literally, the defender was hugging him, giving him no opportunity to come back for that ball. There was absolutely an opportunity for Jahan Dotson to come back for the ball. The defender was not looking at the ball and wrapped his arms around him. And they didn't call it with the ref looking right at it. And you want me to think that officials affect the outcome of football games. Good morning, Chandler. How you doing today? Hey, Phil. What's up, Jonathan? Such a big letdown. I put most blame on Nick Sirianni. And Jalen Hurts comes in 3rd behind KP because Jalen unmotivated to run. I mean, he did run yesterday. And most of his good runs were called back on penalties. But yeah, frustration galore. Rare miscommunication between Coop and Q. Think they were going to banjo the coverage and change at the last minute. Well, you can't have miscommunication in the playoffs. You got to be past that by this point. Jake Elliott trending in the AM. A.J. Brown is to blame. At least Kirkland. I said that. I talked about this earlier in the show, Rick. Frank Close from 97.3 ESPN shared it. Put this thought in my mind last night. Kirkland manned up and owned his mistakes. A.J. dipped like a little baby. Okay? I want Texans to win since they won a Super Bowl. Yeah, I'll root for the Texans. Sure. Great defense. The ref was in our pocket, they said. Yeah. I think it was in the wrong pockets. I think they got that one wrong. I think there was too much chatter about the refs being in our pockets that the NFL called the officials and said, yo, you better sway it the other way. We can't have people thinking that it's going the other way. I don't know anything about them. After the mighty NFL couldn't ban the tush push, you knew the NFL was going to punish the Eagles with their officiating, whether it was that or the rumors, whatever it was. It was 6 minutes left in the 3rd quarter before 1 penalty. Even the 1 penalty they called wasn't even really a penalty. They called a late hit on Jalen Hurts sliding. Jalen kind of slid late. They did pick up the man downfield flag. They did pick that one up. Rightfully so. Every positive play was brought back that mentally messes with you. Absolutely. All Hurts not running. Shout out. What's up, Bucks fan? Watch, blame game. Watch, game, blame, bad coaching. Gotcha. Yeah, the coaching was bad. We know that. We see that. And they will make changes. I guarantee it to the coaching staff. It's just not going to be Nick Sirianni. It's going to be Kevin Patullo. Guys, we're still sitting on only 21 likes. 28 people watching right now. Hit the like button if you have not. Subscribe if you have not. And please, please, please share this out. Sitting at 968, 32 to 1,000, guys. Let's hit that this week. People want Nick fired like always and get Harbaugh. What has he done? Harbaugh's done jack shit in over a decade. Okay? He has had a loaded Ravens team. He's had arguably, according to some, a better quarterback than the Eagles, and he couldn't win. Everyone says Lamar Jackson is better than Jalen Hurts. Well, Lamar Jackson hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. Hasn't played in a Super Bowl yet. Bad play calling. Bad execution. Stupid mistakes. Lack of attention to detail. All of it, Bucks. Even if AJ comes back next season, how can he ever be named the captain again? That is for sure. There's no way he's a captain again. People done blame Harbaugh for all the players' issues, but they jumped all over Nick. Exactly. Plenty of time to put the game away. Can't give the ref a chance to decide the game. I agree. I brought it up on the live stream yesterday. I used to be a big UFC fighter fan, okay? And I used to remember watching some reality shows of, what's his name? Dana White, talking to the fighters before, big pay-per-views. Don't leave it in the hands of the refs. You can't blame the judges' scorecard, or don't leave it in the hands of the judges. Don't let the judges' scorecard be an excuse. Don't let the refs in a football game be an excuse. So while it is an excuse, that can't be the reason we lost. Going to hate watching the 49ers next week. I hope they get blanked and get 40 scored on them. They are Dallas West. Yeah, I don't know which games. I'm going to live stream 1 or 2 games next weekend. I don't know which ones. We'll see. We'll see when I go live. 2-time MVP and lost. Phillies can win this city over big time. They can. I'm going to be sitting by my computer all day waiting for that Bo Bichette breaking news. Who did you fight? I didn't fight anyway. I meant to say I used to be a UFC fight fan, okay? Used to watch every pay-per-view. Every one of them. Used to go down to Firewaters and Hooters down the street and watch them all. And they were great. Nate Diaz, Chuck Liddell, and Connor, my favorite. I always hated Connor. His arrogance, I don't know. But Connor was the last of a breed, okay? The reason why I don't get into UFC anymore is because there's no bitter rivals, Rick. I remember watching like Chuck Liddell versus the Huntington Beach Bad Boy, and they wanted to rip each other's throats out. None of this hugging and kissing after a match. Hey, good fight, yo. No. I want to see heated rivals. Basically, UFC used to be the real life version of WWE. And now it's just not. There's no big, huge, bold personalities. Conor McGregor was the last big, bold personality. When Callahan faced Gruden in 0-2 Super Bowl, Gruden was in complete shock at how Callahan changed none of the calls, terms, or plays. It feels like this wasn't much different. Phil, go fight Sirianni. I wouldn't fight Sirianni. Hey, I wouldn't want to fight Sirianni. The last play being 4-vert was bad. No wonders. How did I not read your whole comment? Which comment? I read the whole thing. I read that whole comment, okay? And mind you, I'm at 332 read comments right now in an hour and 14 minutes, okay? I can't read every word in every comment, but I did read all yours because you call it out. Y'all need to find out if Nick or Hurts keep the NFL's most dangerous weapon from being used. I don't know. I stopped watching when Forrest Griffin lost. Forrest Griffin was my favorite fighter, man. That fight with him and the American Psycho, what was his real name? I forget. For the Ultimate Fighter Championship, one of the greatest fights of all time. So much heart and determination there. No way Seattle lose to Niners. Eagles just proved. Yeah, it's going to be Seattle Bears for the championship game. Josh Allen passing was nothing spectacular, but lots of tush pushes. An 11-yard tush push touchdown. Zero Alexander and Zadarius Smith. We got to go back to this at some point. What this should have foretold of our season. Stefan Bonner, that was the guy's name, yeah. I can't pick a selection on the poll because they all start. I wish they would give me a fifth option, Elephant. For sure. Jalen Hurts gets too much of a pass in the city. Dude misses more wide open receivers than anybody. Not the most intelligent quarterback ever. Got to call it like I see it. There. I read your whole comment, Rick. You happy? But Jalen Hurts, was not perfect yesterday. And I called it like I saw it. But Jalen Hurts did have 4 drop passes that would have massively changed the outcome of the game. 4. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. 4 drop passes yesterday. Is that on Jalen Hurts? Is that his fault? Cowboys have 2 former UFL. Good for them. They should be regulated to that league. Have they figured out what exactly Sirianni went off on AJ for? My guess is for dropping another pass. All right? But Nick Sirianni said he was just trying to hustle him off the sideline because they didn't want to get too many men on the field. That's what he said after the game, Sirianni. This season would have gone different if they just would have been on the field week 1 for the Super Bowl banner drop. Yeah, that's true. Someone did say that was going to be, a jinx. Is Jalen Hurts a legit passing threat in this league? I mean, in what sense? Do you want him to be like Justin Herbert, who just lost? Or, Joe Burrow, who's not in the playoffs? I mean, all I care about is he passing well enough to win the game? And his track record says he's good enough a passer to win football games. I don't need him throwing 5,000 yards, Rick. I don't need him throwing for 40 touchdowns. But can Jalen Hurts throw for 3,800 yards, 4,000 yards? Yeah, I think he could. Can he throw 20? Well, he threw 24, 25 touchdowns this year. There's a LASIK surgery available these days. For what? I blame the Nick the least for yesterday. AJ, KP. Look, I blame them all. Chandler. I'm not avoiding blame on anyone. AJ intentionally drops passes and comes up lame on routes. But yet you want to know, you think this about AJ, but you say AJ, but then you want to know if Jalen Hurts is a competent passer or a legit passing threat. When your best wide receiver, who's supposed to be one of the 3 or 4 best in the league, does this, but yet you want to put blame on Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts does deserve blame, mind you. Too much of a pass. Dude's been to 2 Super Bowls and won 1. We should have won, according to Sirianni, because we won the turn. Yeah, we won the turnover battle. We dominated time of possession. AJ thought they were going for it on 4th down and needed AJ to avoid a too many men on the field penalty. Yeah, that's what he said it was. Well, it was or wasn't, I don't know. Sirianni covered for AJ after the game, but bottom line, AJ needed to be called out. AJ Brown needed to man up and face the media. Yeah, Herbert looked real good yesterday, right? But Herbert will get blamed that he doesn't have weapons or something like that. When Jalen Hurts has weapons and they just drop balls. Hurts is not good enough to just pass, but either is Allen or nobody is. Every great quarterback is great because of the system they're in. 13 in the 4th, but they did enough to win all game and all year. Will Jalen Hurts win another Super Bowl? I think he can. I think he can win another Super Bowl. And no, this is not time to talk Tanner McKee. If you give me a Tanner McKee comment, I'm going to not read your full comments out of spite. You didn't put Jake Elliott on the poll. I mean, there's only 4 options. Who should I put Jake Elliott on the poll over, Mitchie Poo? Jalen was throwing some dots yesterday. Only Hurts' complaint is that he was escaping. He did escape a clean pocket too quickly at least 3 or 4 times yesterday. Absolutely. But also, you got to think about it this way. Does he not trust his targets? Does he get nervous, happy feet back there because he doesn't trust what A.J. Brown's going to do? Does he not trust the routes being called? Hell, I mean, He should have escaped the pocket on the last play of the game because the play call was terrible. And he threw it into triple coverage because what was he supposed to do? Jake Elliott needs to be gone. I'll be curious to see how they figure that out because they got a lot of cap hit. They have minimal cap space, and there's a pretty big kicker dead cap hit for cutting him. I don't know what they do with Jake Elliott. Nick needs to go. He doesn't do anything. He calls plays. It's a disaster. He doesn't call the plays. Got to add another person to blame for this messy, dysfunctional goings on. I'll do a new poll tomorrow maybe with 4 different names to blame. I'll put Jake Elliott, Howie Roseman, Jeff Stoutland, and I don't know who else. I don't like the word coward in general. Like I don't like to call people cowards, but not facing the music last night after the game, it's a coward-esque move. I don't know why I don't like calling people cowards. It's just a word I just very rarely find used in my vocabulary. I don't like to, especially knowing somebody has mental health issues. I hate using that word. I know AJ struggles, but it was very coward-esque not facing the music last night. I don't believe that too many men on the field penalty. AJ wasn't even on the field. Look, that's what he said. Never any nuance behind anything. He picks coaches. It's a disaster. He's literally not good at anything other than waving pom-poms. We kind of need that sometimes. Okay? Even if Jalen doesn't win another Super Bowl, he will never be overrated. He won a Super Bowl. Yeah, exactly. Great point. Jalen trust was not there for his team. I think he lost trust in A.J. Brown. Obviously. That's why he didn't target him for half the game. Yes, that is how it works, okay? You have an opinion. It's my show. I do what I want when I want. Right now is not the time to have the Tanner McKee conversation. Because Jalen Hurts should be at the bottom of the list of reasons why we're upset with this team right now. Does he have some reason to be? Yeah. Some blame? Yeah. But the least of it. Too many dropped balls. Yeah. Just the lack of running out plays. Phil, you said it. Quarterbacks are only as good as the system. It's not just, everyone's like, oh, well, Jalen Hurts only succeeds because of the team and the system. Patrick Mahomes only succeeds because of the team and the system. Joe Burrow only succeeds because of the system. Josh Allen is just a product of his system. Everybody's a product of their system. On a positive note, the Phillies win the World Series. Yeah, until they don't, then you disappear for a week again. Nick got a nerve yapping at AJ when he should have been yapping at KP for that 4th and 11 call. Yeah. Hey, look, the Sixers are a fun team. I even took some of your listeners away over the weekend. I did a Sixers watch party over the weekend. It was fun, actually. AJ catches, second half equals 0. Dom's catch, that's true. It's a fair point. Fair point. I dipped off the show because of too much negativity. Or because you were wrong. You like AJ Brown, couldn't face the music. You called AJ Brown a coward? No, I'm not going to do that to you, Rick. I won't call you a coward. Yet here you are. Yeah. Tanner McKee should replace Hurts. It's an absolutely terrible idea. Horrendous idea. Sure, I'll read your opinion. I'll let you have your opinion, Rick. I'll say it out loud. Rick says Tanner McKee should replace Jalen Hurts. And I'm just going to tell you, it's the dumbest thing in the world. I blame the wind. The wind had a part to it. Going to the Sixers game Wednesday to get my spirits up. Good for you. Thanks for the invite. What has Tanner done? Yeah, exactly. Even in the game he played this year, he was bad. Josh Allen, after every game, needs more help. Hurts gets all the blame and all the quarterbacks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kittle, man. I don't think it was his knee. I think it was his Achilles, honestly. My point is the KP isn't competent enough to create a competent system. I agree. What's up, Larry Jackson? How you doing? What is wrong with these idiots with this Tana? I like that. Tana McKee. I know. I agree with you, Larry. Can we talk about how good Q Mitchell is? We can. But can you also talk about how the game got off on a bad foot because of Q? We were down 7-0. In the first 2.5 minutes, strictly because of Q. Look, by the way, with the pizza shop, my bad. Including last night's playoff loss, the Eagles were 3-5 after I sold my pizza shop. All right? I directly result in the team losing, okay? Bears are going to the Super Bowl if they beat the Rams and Niners beat. I don't know I don't think the Niners will beat Seattle, but I could definitely see the Bears beating the Rams next week. I probably got to do the Bears game live on this channel for Dakota. Yeah, I think it was Achilles, not the knee. Yeah, Gabe Davis knee. Yeah, he took. They officially announced it. It's a shame. He won't be back till late next year. Patullo, whatever the hell his name is, he's terrible, and Sirianni only picked them so he could be able to have his puppet. Well, look, Patullo won't be here much longer. You should blame me for the Eagles' collapse. 1,000%. Patent quote, you coward, slapped with a glove. I didn't even read it. Phil, you should have made a sacrificial pizza last night. I guess I should have done something. Remaining teams in the NFC are very well coached, but the Bears are in over their depth. They might be in over their depth. Let me tell you something. Caleb Williams got a little bit of juice to him. Caleb Williams doesn't like the disrespect that he gets thrown his way. Something about Caleb Williams. He's just vibing right now. Okay? He just is. And I have a feeling that they're going to make a little bit of run. We're up to 26 likes on the video, guys. If you haven't, hit the like button, subscribe, share. Please. Are you going against the Pope shows? I am not, but he might be. Eagles is 100%. It's all my fault. If you want to blame anybody, blame me. Seriously, though, what can we depend on Nick for? Baking cookies. Has he got a hotel restaurant degree? Do we even know if he can bake? We're getting there. Just want in the script. Look. Let's bring this all full circle here, okay? I was not a Caleb fan, but the game against the Eagles on Black Friday started to turn my mind. And I watched him a little bit more since then. He's got something to him. Half of Williams is will. The Bears won because Caleb willed it. Look at Freddie Defoe dropping the dime right there. I like that. How give KP to run our offense is like giving the keys of a Lambo to a 5-year-old. Disaster was imminent. See, this is the part that I'm frustrated with. I said that too when the hire was made. But then I suckered myself into saying, well, you know what? It'll work because Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts won't let it not work. And if it doesn't work, they'll make the necessary change. The one thing I will criticize on Nick Sirianni is I think he lost his nerve to make the change. He said he learned a lot from 23, and that's why 24 was so good. And in 23, what was one of the big disasters? Moving off of Sean Desai for Matt Patricia. So maybe he saw the disaster that created and refused to do it this year. A.J. Brown always talking about, I'm always open on his commercials. Okay, he was open this time. I know he passes he dropped. Was it 3? Look, Larry. A.J. Brown, such an elite receiver, but such a frustrating player. But again, he's probably going to be gone. But on the flip side, you're not going to easily replace him. And losing him is going to make it harder for everybody else. Yeah, probably. Yes, absolutely. Jalen Hurts follow the plays he gets, and the team drop balls and get penalties, and we blame quarterback one. Exactly. Nice journeys. Exactly. Look, Jalen Hurts wasn't perfect yesterday. We can all admit that. But he had 4 drop passes, plus a penalty not called on Jahan Dotson in the end zone that would have all changed the outcome of the game. All right, get rid of all 4 drops. The ref calls the pass interference on Jahan Dotson in the end zone. Change. Robinson didn't get called for a false start. Was running forward like it was the XFL. Then pushed off into Adoree Jackson. Completed an 18-yard play. There are multiple parts of the game affected by bad penalties or not calls. But Jalen Hurts will get the blame. But you know what, Ja? I don't know if you want to go by Ja or Nice or what you want to call me. But Ja Nice, Jalen Hurts will accept the blame. You know why? Because quarterback ones shoulder that responsibility. All right? And he is a true leader because he's going to take that blame on the chin. He knows it's not his fault that 4 perfect passes were dropped. He knows it's not his fault that refs missed calls, right? But he takes it. Let's put it this way. Ted Lasso didn't know the game, but made sure he put competent people around him. Sirianni might be Mr. Positivity. Yeah, he did put competent people around him. Plain and simple. There was a plethora of good coaches around, then there wouldn't be such a coaching carousel. It's not easy to both lead and be the... Yeah, absolutely agree. Do we want to be changing coaches every 3 years? No. Nick yelling at AJ for dropping a pass when AJ was already screaming at himself was a classless move. See, I think it was the right thing to do. You're absolutely right, man. I agree. Thank you. I appreciate it. At least somebody agrees with me finally. AJ said he was open, but he didn't say anything about catching it in the commercials. Yeah. He never said he was a good catcher. He just said he was always open. Wrote last night, AJ is always open, is accurate. Catching the ball is not guaranteed. Let's lose AJ to make it where Smith is always covered and no number 2. Exactly. Losing AJ creates a big issue. I don't think people realize that. Then he hid behind Big Dom. Yeah, he did. He did hide behind Big Dom. Get that flag. It's at the 1, and we probably win. Exactly. So many moments the officials messed it. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. I try. I don't hit it on the money all the time, but I do come out here and grind every day for you guys. So you know what you got to do for me, Larry? You got to go find every one of your friends. Tell them all to subscribe. Got to get this channel to at least 1,000. Got to start finding ways to make some money doing this. Otherwise, I'll have to find a job someday. O-line needs to be the focus in the draft. If we don't get a right tackle with our first pick, I will be pissed because Lane is no longer reliable. Look, you got to. We're going to either have the 22nd or 23rd pick in the draft. Depends on who wins this weekend. All right? So, whether we go offensive line first or second round, it's got to be a priority. Couldn't believe the illegal shift false start wasn't called. You're talking about the play that I was talking about where the push-off also happened on the play, right? I think it was Robinson. He ran forward to the line before the snap and got a running start. And then extended his arm and pushed off on the same exact play. 8 years, 8 OCs. It's hard for Hurts to always learn new systems. Look at all. Yeah. And that's something that we know. We've talked about it forever. And I hope they don't use that as an excuse to bring Kevin Patullo back. Let's have the hope that next season with Sirianni that the man learns to put more imagination to his offensive philosophy and Jalen get back to being a tailback quarterback again. We'll see. The next week is going to be really telling in Eagles Nation. At least Elliott missed that extra point, so he didn't get to the. Yeah, if he makes that extra point, he has to kick a field goal to tie it. There's a way higher success tax these days. There's something to be said for being able to continue the success, unlike some other hosts. Yeah, it is hard to contain. Losing coordinators, losing players and free agents. It's tough to maintain. Patriots dynasties aren't happening anymore. Almost need to go O-line every round. Look, you win in the trenches, right? They're going to have to make a decision on Cam Jurgens. You're not getting rid of him. You just signed him to a big contract. But Brett Toth needs massively upgraded. Your swing guard / center. So that when Cam Jurgens is hurt, or if Cam Jurgens slumps, you have an option to sit him. I think Lane stays another year. Dude was always a competitor. I think he does. But I think where he originally thought it was a lock that he would play next year, he's going to take a long look this offseason and deep inside, internally, and be like, do I really want to put my body through it again? It's going to be a long thought process for him. We won last night. There's 0 chances offense wins next week. You do really pay for being good these days. Absolutely. Come on, Phillies, announce the Bo. Yeah, we need some positivity. We need some positivity. Cam Jurgens needs to be locked in a room with Jason Kelce. Yeah, I agree. He's got to figure something out. Couldn't all just be the injuries. But he really bombed this year. No doubt about it. Lane Johnson should retire. Eagles brass has work to do with a... Look, he physically should retire, but the alternatives for the Eagles aren't good. So, I don't know. I think the D-line underperformed last night. They absolutely did. No pressure whatsoever. I mean, they stopped. They did a very good job containing Christian McCaffrey in the run game for the majority. He was 7 of 9 at one point. He finished 15 of 48, so he was 8 of 39 to close. So, I mean, he picked up a little steam. But the front did zero to pressure Brock Purdy. Vic Fangio only dialed up one blitz that I remember seeing. I knew this was the reality, but I didn't want to accept it. Eagles fan, I was the same way. I knew this was probably going to be what today was like. But I didn't want to believe it. We don't need positivity. Today is a day of bitching. Absolutely agree. Today is all about bitching and moaning. And you're right. Who's this? Who's this? By his stripes, we are healed 2023. Good morning to you. Is that Jason? Looked a little like Jason Voorhees in the picture, but I can't see. Tight end 1, tight end 2, specialties, quarterback 2, right guard 2, left tackle 2, DN 1. Yeah. A lot of people, there's a lot of holes on this team. I thought that was you. I couldn't tell. Couldn't tell. The picture, I couldn't see it. It's too small on my screen. Too small on my screen. I know everyone's blaming Patullo. I blame Sirianni. Everybody is to blame. It's who do we put more blame on? That's the question. Problem is, you can't move on from Sirianni yet. You got to give him a chance to rebound and fix this. But you can move on from Patullo. Jordan Love lost after being up 21-3. And it's all Eagles talk. That's just, but Jordan Love will be ranked ahead of Jalen Hurts in all quarterback rankings next year. I'll tell you, I won't have him in my top 5 next year, Jalen Hurts. Sirianni needs to step away from play calling. Well, he wasn't play calling. He might have had some say in the play design, but he wasn't. It is all my fault, Mitchie Poo. I sold the pizza shop, and the Eagles went 3-5. My bad. Put no blame on the defense. They got us to the playoffs and played their asses off yesterday. They got the turnovers, and if we get touchdowns, they still need to put a little pressure on Brock Purdy. They gave way too many big, explosive plays, but they were gassed this year because of the offense. 100%. I'll keep Sirianni, but Patullo got to go. Patullo got to go. Yeah, he's going to go. Everyone is to blame but Goddard. Dallas Goddard probably is one of the few Eagles that gets zero blame this year. Although Dallas Goddard did miss a big block on one of the hits in the backfield on Saquon Barkley. So I do remember one bad play from Dallas Goddard. You know it's coaching masterclass when your loss feels like a death of 1,000 cuts. Yeah. Bringing a guy who can have total autonomy on plays like they did with Fangio. We've been discussing that today. And yes, that is something that we all want. And whether that's Frank Reich or somebody else, time will tell. Hurts without running is ranked what? 14? I don't know. I'm not ready to do my next year quarterback rankings yet. A.J. Brown needs to go, definitely. It's a tough. And who's gonna be your quarterback 1? You're gonna take A.J. Brown and Jahan Dotson off this team because Dotson's a free agent and he's gonna go somewhere where he's gonna have a chance to start. You're gonna have to draft a wide receiver and Darius Cooper and Britton Covey. Yeah, that's not good enough. You have to hope these autonomy guys get along. You do. D'Angelo has a connection with that coaster got fired in Miami. I think the Eagles should try to hire him. What do you think? I am not a Mike McDaniels guy. Okay? Not a Mike McDaniels guy. I think he's a weasel. He's a clown. His personality would not fit here. Okay? I don't. D'Angelo, I'm not even sure who you're talking about, D'Angelo. But Mike McDaniels, to me, would be the worst option out of all of them. A.J. Brown killed us last night, but I'm going to miss the good times. Yeah, I mean, if he's gone, I'm going to miss him. No to Mike McDaniels. That's the problem with Nick, though. If the OC is having a bad day, Nick can't add anything to help. DC having a bad day, Nick can't help. You might have some accuracy in that. Wide receiver 3 may be a bigger priority than we feel it is. It absolutely is. Wide receiver 3 is going to be a huge issue when we lose all our wide receivers. Most of the young, innovative OCs will be Reynolds like Moore and Steichen. McDaniels is innovative OC, but will be a one and done. Yeah, look, yeah. There's a lot of bad options out there. I don't know who the right option is, but there's a lot of bad options too. All the good head coach that got fired will get new head coaching jobs. I think they're all going to go for head coaching jobs. Can we take one moment to thank Lori for commenting about how fans need 10 different streaming services? Yeah, it's kind of annoying. So who are you thinking? I don't know who I'm thinking yet. Frank Reich is an option. Stefanski is an option. Unlikely, but an option. Brian Dable is an option, in my opinion. But they're the names. But I'm really going to sit and think about it over the next couple days. Work on pilot. By Wednesday or Thursday, I'll have a list of who I want. Hopefully by then we know that he's fired as well. Why haven't we seen a Kevin Patullo is fired? I don't know. I either need that or I need the Bo Bichette news to drop immediately. Machine? Is that how you say it? I need one or the other to happen. I need it. I think this regime has held Hurts back despite the team's success. They need someone who will have difficult conversations with Hurts. He has all the talent, but I think he needs better coaching. Maybe harder coaching? Does that make sense? Better or harder coaching? Need a better quarterback too. You absolutely do. 100%. I blame Nikki Bella is to blame as well. The downfall was Nikki Bella. Matt Prater looks like he is 60. The unmarried guys did well yesterday. Here we are with that married situation. It's just frustrating to see a team with so much talent be so middling in the offensive side of the ball. How'd they go from having Barkley, injuries, inconsistency, all of it? There's so many things that went wrong. Yes to my comment. Yeah, we just need either or. Either or. That's coaching. These fucking kids, Phil. It is. I appreciate Nick, but he can go too. I mean, Nick Sirianni's not going anywhere. He's just not. Plain and simple. Who was doing? I never even heard of the guy. I like the idea of coaching harder, not different. Yeah, I think so. God damn it, Nick. Yeah, it's all Nikki Bella's fault. Shocker. The breaking news we'll get first is that Nikki Bella dropped Cooper for being a loser. Blame Hard Knocks. Anytime a team is on, it goes bad. Yeah, I lost my Hard Knocks access, so I didn't watch the rest of it. Harder coaching. Yeah. Still thankful for the last 5 years. Exactly, Nooms. I am beyond thankful for the last 5 years of Eagles football. And guess what? Year 6 might be better than year 5. Wouldn't be surprised if some of the drops were on purpose. I mean, that really said if you're tanking plays purposely to get a coach fired, then you got to go. Okay? Got to. People keep saying it was a down year compared to last year. No. Shit, we didn't win the every year that's not a Super Bowl wins a down year, right? My team won 2 Super Bowls while I was alive. Yeah, I'm sad, but we won last year. Exactly. We won. That's a big thing. Guys, if you haven't yet, we're coming close to the end. Hit that like button, subscribe, and please share this out and tell your friends, okay? So close to that 1,000 marker. Like, subscribe, share. We got 51 poll votes, but only 28 likes. Bring on Bo Bichette. Let's get it done. Get it done. Flyers haven't been the same since Hard Knocks. Let's go today. Let's find something positive today. If I was Tank, I would want out. Yeah. Still the minimal use of Tank yesterday, Mitch. Tank had 4 rushes for 19 yards. Still wasn't on the field. I haven't even looked at the snap counts. I don't think Jalen is the kind of guy that doesn't listen to coaching. His dad was a coach. I think Jalen has respect for coaches. Yeah, I agree with this. Jalen won't go against what coach says because of the way he was raised and brought up. I agree with that. Greenland should get an NFL team. What? Tank season, yeah. Chandler's 100% right. We won, but I just wanted to go out better. Offense was pulling teeth the whole year. It was. And we all knew this was coming, right? We all saw this coming. We all knew this was coming. We're not shocked that this happened, right? Anyway. Is Goddard an Eagle next season? Probably not. I don't know how they afford him. But I don't know how you let him go after the season he just had. No Eagles fan is okay today. Okay, Nooms? That's what you can tell your son. No real hardcore Eagles fan is okay today. Anyway, that's about what? 95? No. It's 105 minutes live this morning so far. Say it with me. Fire Nick Sirianni. No. I will not say fire Nick Sirianni. Cap and age is a small issue. It's a big issue. Both of them. They afford Goddard by trading AJ. Maybe. You got a lot of moves to make. There's a lot that needs to happen this offseason. You can tell Hurts is a coach guy. He followed orders, and he followed orders all season long. You can see it in his reaction to the last play. Yeah, look, I mean, he looked at Nick Sirianni. He's like, yo, are you sure about this call? And Nick Sirianni's like, Nick Sirianni even said, you know what? Kevin Patullo's dug his grave. Let him sink. You know, whatever. Do your best. Go for it. Clip it out. Go for it. Al Z needs to counter the excuse emporium with the Matty B inferiority complex. Is Matty B still a thing? Sirianni knew it was a crap play Patullo put in and allowed it. Dude, honestly, the more I watch and dissect that moment, the more I do want to blame Nick Sirianni. Okay? For sure. He could have overruled him there, but he let his guy do it. Besides the obvious changing of offensive coordinator, it's the offensive line. Offensive line and pass rush are my top priorities. Our pass rush was hidden most of the year. Had some bright spots, but not good enough. And our offensive line. The depth on our offensive line, Lane Johnson's replacement, that's my top priority. Cluster of buildings that house all of your Phillies scars for the world to see. Yeah, it's not one. I need a massive warehouse, right? Run 3 Vert and Smith on a crosser. It's probably open or run. Yeah. Look, mistake. Nick Tans. What? Oh, my God. You hang out with Gabe Kapler? You need edge as always. Yeah, absolutely. If you're a friend with the head coach, you should automatically not get the job. True. I think Dean is a tough call. Dean did not play well yesterday. Much. He didn't play well. You drafted Jahad Campbell, who had a down second half, hit a rookie wall when Dean came back. Another offseason of learning under Fangio, you might have to turn the reins over. But while Dean thrived early on in his return, he didn't thrive later in the season. So maybe his price comes down and you can afford him. I think safety, what you do at safety, is a harder decision than letting Dean walk. Yep. A lot of people we like will have to go. There's going to be a lot of fan favorites that have to go. If they don't fire KP and hire someone from outside the org, then I don't think I can watch. I mean, we will watch Warfighter. We'll just bitch about it the whole time. He should be allowed to walk. It probably should be an O-line. Wearing their leopard G-strings together. All right, guys, we're pushing close to 2 hours this morning. I got to go make some breakfast. Maybe I'll do another show later today. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll definitely be back tomorrow morning. Dude, there's a lot of value this weekend. Maybe there's a restructure there. Maybe. Moving us up to get the O-line we want. It's a good idea. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Huge show. Let's get this week off. Let's get the negativity out and get positive, and let's fix it tomorrow. Even if you're watching on replay, like, share, subscribe, guys. I'd appreciate it. Sixers tonight. But you want me to go live for the Sixers game? I don't know. I got Fairway to Heaven. Golf is back tomorrow at 6 p.m. My next hour or two is doing golf research for the Sony Open. That's what I'm doing. I'm positive AJ stinks. Anyway, we're going to wrap this baby up. Fun-filled show this morning, guys. Over almost 2 hours of live coverage today. We'll be back. I'll have Eagles check down later. Maybe I'll go live if Bo Bichette signs. I'll go live if KP is fired. I'm going to preset those breaking news tabs up just in case. You have a good day otherwise, guys. We'll be back tomorrow at the latest with another Trending in the AM. Yes, it's always go Birds, but we need the bubbles up more now than ever, guys. So, everybody have a great Monday. Bubbles up.